I found out I was adopted after my mom died. Then my family tried to take everything she left me. I, 22 lost my mom about 3 months ago. She was everything to me. I mean, I knew she wasn't perfect. She was stubborn, overprotective, and had this old-school way of thinking. But she loved me fiercely, and I never once questioned our bond. I never met my father. Mom always told me it was complicated and that he was out of the picture, so I eventually stopped asking. Her passing was sudden, a heart attack. No warnings, no goodbye. I was still in college when it happened, just a few months away from graduation. I had to take time off to deal with everything. Funeral arrangements, packing up the house, dealing with relatives. It was overwhelming. But the real shock came during the reading of her will. She left me almost everything. The house, her savings, which turned out to be more than I expected, her car, even some small investments. The lawyer handling her estate was a quiet guy named Mr. Raymond. After the will was read, he asked if he could speak to me privately. I thought it was just more paperwork. Instead, he pulled out a manila envelope with my name on it in Mom's handwriting. Inside were 2 letters. One was addressed to me. The other was for someone named Jacob and Elaine Harris. I didn't recognize the names. I read my letter in the lawyer's office, and it completely shattered my world. My dearest Ryan, if you're reading this, then I'm no longer with you, and I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But there's something I never had the courage to tell you while I was alive. You were adopted. You came into my life when you were just a few months old. I had just turned 30 and had been trying to conceive for years. Adoption wasn't my first plan, but the moment I held you, I knew you were my son. I never wanted you to feel less than or like you didn't belong, so I chose to keep this between us. Your birth parents are Jacob and Elaine Harris. They gave you up under circumstances I won't speak for, but I've written them a letter too. Please don't be angry with me. I loved you with all my heart, and you were mine in every way that matters. That's why I've left you the majority of what I have. You're my son. Always. I remember just staring at that paper like it was a prank. I didn't believe it. I couldn't. I mean, Mom and I had the same eye color. Same stubborn streak. She used to joke about how I was a mirror with legs. I took a couple of days before I even opened the second letter. Eventually, curiosity got the best of me. It was written more formally, almost like a peace offering. In it, Mom explained that if Jacob and Elaine ever reached out, I could decide whether or not I wanted contact. She even included an address in case I wanted to write to them first. At this point, I didn't know what to think. I was still grieving. The fact that my entire identity had been flipped upside down was almost too much to process. But things got worse. Word got out about the will. I don't know who spilled the beans, maybe a relative, but within a week, I got a call from someone claiming to be Elaine Harris, my biological mother. She wanted to meet. And not long after that, I got a lawyer's letter from my grandparents, Mom's parents, the ones I had known my entire life. They were furious that I had inherited most of her estate, and they were challenging the will. The letter from my grandparents' lawyer was cold and direct. They were contesting the validity of the will, claiming my mother had not been of sound mind when she made those decisions. I couldn't believe it. These were the same people who used to send me birthday cards every year, who came over on Christmas with a pie and always asked how school was going. Now they were accusing my mom, their own daughter, of being mentally unfit just because she left me everything. It stung. But it also told me something I hadn't seen before. They never really saw me as family. Maybe they tolerated me because of Mom. But the second she was gone, so was the illusion. And now that they knew I wasn't her biological child, they probably saw me as nothing more than a legal obstacle between them and what they believed was rightfully theirs. Meanwhile, I had that letter from Elaine Harris sitting on my desk. I hadn't called her back yet. I didn't even know how I felt. Angry? Betrayed? Curious? Maybe all of it. I had a million questions. Why did they give me up? Why now? Why did they want to talk? I eventually agreed to meet Elaine at a public coffee shop. I didn't want any drama. I didn't even tell anyone I was going. When I arrived, I saw her sitting alone, nervously stirring her coffee. She looked older than my mom by a few years, with tired eyes and a soft voice. She stood when she saw me and said, "Ryan?" I nodded, and we sat. For the first 5 minutes, she mostly apologized for giving me up, for the sudden contact, for everything. She said they were young and struggling when I was born. Her husband, my biological father, had lost his job, and Elaine had postpartum complications. Their families weren't supportive. Adoption seemed like the least damaging option at the time. They had tried to reach out once, years ago, through the agency, but my mom had apparently shut it down, told them I was doing well and didn't need the confusion. So they backed off. That made me pause. Mom never told me any of that. She always painted the adoption process as her single, independent choice. No real family on the other end, just a baby in need of a home. But according to Elaine, it was more complicated than that. Then she said something that shook me. We didn't come back for money, Ryan. I didn't even know about the will. We heard about your mom's passing from someone in town, and I thought maybe, if you were ready, you might want answers. I believed her. I didn't know why, but I did. There was no desperation in her voice, no mention of inheritance. Just a broken woman who'd carried the weight of a choice for over 2 decades. I told her I needed time, and she respected that. She gave me a number and said they'd wait for me to reach out. But while that meeting brought a weird sense of closure, the storm with my grandparents was just getting started. They filed an official claim. My lawyer, Mr. Raymond, told me it could take months to resolve, and if the court sided with them, I could lose the house, the assets, everything. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to fight, to defend Mom's decision with everything I had. But another part of me just wanted to disappear. Let them have it, move somewhere else, start over. All this grief, drama, legal pressure, it was breaking me down. And then, things took another dark turn. I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know. A cousin, apparently. And it said, "You think you're entitled to our family's money? You'll regret this." I stared at that Facebook message for a long time. It wasn't just the words, it was the tone. There was venom in it. Like I was some outsider who had broken into their family vault and stolen what wasn't mine. It was from my cousin Alex, my mom's nephew. We were never close, but we'd see each other at family holidays. He used to tease me a lot as a kid. Now, as an adult, he was threatening me. I showed the message to Mr. Raymond. He advised me to block him and keep everything documented. Apparently, once wills get contested and money's involved, people show their true selves. It was beginning to feel like I was surrounded by strangers. I couldn't believe how fast the people who once hugged me and called me family now saw me as some imposter. It wasn't about my mom's love for me or what I had been through. It was about what I had now, and they wanted it. But I wasn't going to just roll over. I started digging deeper into the legal documents. I found out Mom had updated her will just 1 year before her death. It was crystal clear, everything was intentional. She'd even recorded a video with Mr. Raymond as part of her estate planning, talking about why she was leaving me the majority. I watched it in the lawyer's office, and I'll never forget what she said. "Ryan is my son in every way that matters. He has been my world, and I've seen the kind of man he's become. I know some may not agree with this decision, but I am of sound mind, and I want him to be okay after I'm gone." That video gave me the strength I needed. It wasn't just a signature on paper, it was her voice, her eyes, her heart. That was proof. And as we moved into mediation with my grandparents' lawyers, that video changed everything. Their claim was weak to begin with, and the video made it weaker. After 2 stressful months, they agreed to settle outside of court. They dropped their formal challenge, but tried to negotiate for a family share of the assets. I declined. I didn't know them anything, not after how they treated me. But I wasn't heartless. I set aside a small portion of the estate to donate to a charity Mom used to support. It felt like a better way to honor her than letting bitter people fight over what she left behind. As for Elaine and Jacob, I took my time. But eventually, I met them again. This time at their home. It was awkward at first, but peaceful. They showed me old pictures, including one of me as a newborn in a little blue beanie. They'd kept it all these years. Jacob cried when he showed me. That hit me harder than I expected. They weren't trying to replace Mom. They weren't trying to take anything from me. They just wanted to fill in the blanks, and maybe, just maybe, build something new if I was open to it. And weirdly, I was. I still think about Mom every day. I still hear her voice when I need advice or see her in little things, like the recipe book she kept on the kitchen shelf or the worn-out quilt she always wrapped around me when I was sick. But I also know now that her love wasn't about blood. It was about choice. She chose me, and in doing so, she taught me what real family is. Not who you come from, but who stands by you when everyone else turns away. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.